To bring tourism to their country and enhance the country's economy, China decided to host the 2008 Olympic Games. The country spent over $40 billion on the facilities. Their budget was not a concern. Instead, their goal was to impress all viewers with their state-of-the-art facilities. Their motto was to spend big and to impress.
Although the facilities did impress in 2008, today most of them stand unmaintained and deserted. The buildings and fields stand empty with outside walls painted with graffiti. Inhabitants of the cities and towns that hosted the games picked up and left these areas.
Hey, Julia, so what do net users think about these photos that came from Reuters and then were publicized by Wang Shuming?
Well, of course, these photos have caused a lot of discussion on the internet, but the reactions seem to be really different. Well, some net users like this one from club.kdnet.com are shocked and also a little angry. And he says, how could such a thing happen? How can our hard-earned money have been wasted on something like this? And this poster, Qian Ye from Weibo.com, also has a similar feeling. He says, the taxes paid by the ordinary people end up paying for these kind of vanity projects. If they get the money from the public, they should use them for the public. While this poster, Li Hu, believes this kind of a situation isn't so rare. He says, the Beijing Olympic venues have gone to ruins. The Shenzhen University Games incurred a ton of debt. Shenyang City is still spending a lot of money and energy to prepare for the national games, which isn't so important. When is this extravagant and wasteful behavior going to stop?
The Bird's Nest, the stadium where the opening ceremony was held and where Usain Bolt broke the 100-meter and 200-meter records, took $480 million to build. However, today, the building is left alone with only occasional tourists to stop by.
The problem with the Bird's Nest is that it is just too big. It may have been fine in the US, but not in China, even with their immense population.
Some attempts to fill it have been an indoor man-made ski slope, and Alidi Luxor tried to break a record for living off the ground for 2 months on the tightrope.
The Beijing National Aquatic Center, also known as the Cube, was the only facility during the 2008 Olympics that was financed by public donations.
The Cube is the most used of the Olympic facilities in China. They now have turned part of it into a water park. They also have their own branded goods, such as alcohol that sells for $150 a bottle. However, even with these incomes, they barely broke even in 2011.
Some of the other facilities, including kayaking, which has no water in it, beach volleyball, which is now covered in graffiti, BMX, which is overgrown, and baseball, which is also overgrown. These facilities remain untouched and deserted. Landscaping and maintenance of signage and grounds appear to be unkept since the closing of the ceremony.
Other countries who have hosted the Olympic Games currently use most of their facilities. Today, Atlanta's Olympic Stadium is used as a baseball park. London has also been successful in reusing and recycling their Olympic facilities. The London Olympic Stadium is now used for professional football games, and they have plans to use the stadium for track and field in 2015.
The London Aquatic Center, where Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, and Chad Lacrosse swam at the Summer Olympics, is now being used as a community recreational facility. The basketball arena, made out of fully recyclable material, has now been totally dismantled. China spent too much money for facilities that they had no intention of using. While Olympic venues like London and Atlanta had plans.
Okay, Julia, as we mentioned before, the use of the Olympic venues after the Games is always a big problem for Olympic hosts. So do the netizens here have any sort of specific suggestions for what they want done with these facilities?
Yes, of course. After the spread of these grim photos of the venues, some net users have put forward suggestions for what to do with them. Many users, including Haijiao Baifan, believe the market is the key. And he says, in my view, the government should consider transferring the operation of these venues to private individuals, and then the venues could be put to better use. I think there's still demand for use of the venues, but the point is how to get people out there.
To improve the facilities and the current economic state, the country should slowly work towards renovating the facilities and use them for sporting events within their country and other community events. This will help attract people to these areas and bring in new